My girlfriend made me pick her or my friends right before our yearly trip, so I chose them. My girlfriend told me to choose between her and my friends, so I did. We'd been together 4 months. It sounds short, but it felt real. She'd come over after work, we'd cook something, watch a show, and crash on the couch. It was easy, like we could just be normal together. About 6 weeks in, she met my boys. I was nervous because my friends are loud, and we mess with each other all the time. She actually fit in. She laughed, fired back a joke, and later told me she liked how close we were. So when our camping trip came up, I didn't think twice. My boys and I do the same 3-day trip every summer. Same lake, same spot, same gas station stop. We started planning in February. Days off, money, gear, who brings what. I told her in March and she said it sounded fun and she'd miss me. Then 2 weeks before we left, her mood flipped. At first, it was little stuff. If my group chat popped up, she'd glance over and go quiet. If I laughed at something a friend said, she'd ask, "What's so funny?" But not like she was joking. One night, my buddy called to confirm the campsite fee and she turned the stove off mid-cooking. I said, "It's a quick call," and she said, "Sure," in that cold way. After that, she kept bringing up the trip like it was proof I didn't care. She tried to rewrite the plan. She asked why she couldn't come just this once. I told her it's a guy's trip and always has been, and we'd do something together another time. She said, "So I'm not invited to your real life." Then she started picking fights over nothing, like my shoes by the door or texting back too fast. I'd apologize, she'd say it was fine, and then she'd bring the trip up again. She'd say, "Must be nice to get a guy's trip," or, "I guess I know where I rank." I tried to fix it the normal way. I asked if she wanted to plan a date weekend after I got back. She said that wasn't the point. The Sunday before the trip, she got really quiet. We were on the couch and I could feel she was tense. I asked what was wrong. She said, "Nothing." I didn't push. I waited. About an hour later, she sat up and said, "I've been thinking." She told me she didn't feel like a priority. She said the camping trip made her feel like I cared more about my friends than about her. She said if I valued the relationship, I'd stay. I kept my voice calm and said, "We talked about this for months. What changed?" She said, "I didn't really think about what it meant." I asked what it meant. She said it meant my friends come first and she comes second, and she wasn't doing that. I said, "If I skip it, what do we do instead?" She didn't answer. She just said the choice was the whole thing. Then she said it straight. I had to decide what mattered more, her or my friends. I stared at her because it didn't even sound like her. She didn't blink. She looked almost calm, like she expected me to fold, and I get why she expected that. I've done that in past relationships. You cancel something to prove you care, and then you feel gross about it later. This time I thought about my boys. I thought about years of friendship and the stuff they did for me when life got messy. I thought about the friend who drove to me at midnight because I sounded off on the phone. I thought about the friend who sat with me in a hospital waiting room for hours. No talking, just there. 4 months is something, but it's not that. So I told her the truth. I said I was still going on the trip. Her face changed, like she'd been waiting for me to say, "Okay, fine." She asked, "Are you serious?" I said yes. She said I was selfish. I said, "I planned this months ago. I told you months ago." She said it wasn't about camping anymore. It was about what I was showing her. She said if I loved her, I'd choose her. I said, "I do love you, but I don't do ultimatums." I said I wasn't canceling on people I love just to pass a test. She went silent for a long second. Then she stood up and started moving around my apartment. At first, I thought she was pacing. Then I saw what she was doing. She was grabbing her things, one at a time. Her charger off my nightstand, her hoodie off my chair, her stuff from my bathroom. She wasn't crying. That made it worse. I stood there in the doorway and didn't know what to say that wouldn't make it ugly. She zipped her bag and walked to the door. She stopped with her hand on the knob and looked at me like this was my last chance. I didn't say, "I'll stay." I couldn't. She opened the door and left. It shut so hard the wall frame rattled. I stood there, then sat on the couch and just stared at nothing. A minute later, my phone buzzed. It was my buddy asking if I was still bringing the folding chairs because he just picked up the firewood. I stared at that message for a long moment. Then I typed,